and welcome to What's Up Westmoreland. My name is Ashley Lee. I am one of the coordinators of admission here at our Youngwood campus. I'd like to welcome everybody back today. We have new guests and a new topic today. Today we will be talking about athletics. But before we get started, I wanted to remind everyone that our 8-week classes do start next week, October 14th. But there is still time to get in. So if that is something that you are interested in, please go ahead and call our information center at 724-925-4000. Today we have 3 special guests with us. I'm gonna have them introduce themselves. I'm gonna start with Brooke.
Hi, I'm Brooke.
And Brooke, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm on the cross country team, obviously, and I just started my first year in the sonography program here at WCCC.
Great. Yep, she's rocking the scrubs. I love it. Brian?
My name is Brian Rose. I'm Director of Athletics and Recreation here at Westmoreland, and I'm in my 3rd year starting at the Youngwood campus, but work with all athletes regardless of what campus they're at, and also just work with all students for different reasons, such as clubs with our weight room and our different facilities on campus. Great.
And Coach Comer.
Hi, my name is Patrick Comer. I'm the head cross country coach here at Westmoreland. This will be my 10th year at the college.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you guys all for joining us today. So to get things started, Brooke, I'd like to start with just, some questions for you. So what was your path to becoming here at Westmoreland?
I definitely wanted to major in sonography, so I just started my first year. I can tell you that my plan wasn't to run my first year. This is my 3rd year here, and I ran last year, and I'm in my 2nd year running right now.
Okay. And what was it that really kind of piqued your interest about Westmoreland? You said that it was, the sonography program that we have here, correct?
Yes. I don't know. My older sister came to Westmoreland, and I don't know. I don't know. It was close to home, so yeah.
Yeah, good reason. So what's been the key to your success as a cross-country runner since joining the team at Westmoreland?
Probably just staying consistent with my workouts.
Definitely. I'm sure that's been a little bit more of a challenge these days with everything happening in the world. So hopefully you're able to do some home workouts too, right?
Yeah.
And so, obviously, throughout your time here at Westmoreland, I'm sure you've, accomplished a lot of goals, but what are your goals individually and for the team for the rest of this year?
Individually, probably my goal for each meet is just a PR. That's like my main goal, like every time we have a meet. But probably for the team this year, I hope we can win nationals.
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Definitely a good goal. Comer, can you talk a little bit about, for you, what's been the team's key to success, especially with everything going on, like we were kind of just mentioning about the unusual year, to achieve the awesome highest ranking team in the program?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing right now is just making sure that, like Brooke said, we're staying consistent with our workouts, making sure we're following the plans that we have in place. I mean, a big part of it as well is making sure kids are following the safety protocols. That's a big part of it as well, making sure they're being screened and making sure that, they're not going places where they could possibly, catch something. I mean, just the workouts in general. I mean, the kids work really hard. There are times where, this year they've done some workouts on their own at home, just trying to either minimize our contact sometimes, or just the fact that with remote learning, not everybody's on campus all the time. So, I mean, it's really just making sure everyone's on the same page with what we have going on and buying into the process that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that communication, especially with everybody not being on campus currently, all the time or at the same time, that would definitely be key. So our cross country team, people may or may not know, enjoys great success athletically, but also academically, which has led to winning the YWCA College Team of the Year award last spring, which is amazing. And the women's team has the 8th highest GPA in the country last year, which is really incredible. So how have your athletes managed to be that successful both as students and as runners?
Well, I mean, the most important thing is that, they are, they're students first, there'll be times where some of them will text me in the morning and say, I have a paper due today. My first sentence to them is take care of your schoolwork. You can get a run in on your own sometime. You can meet up with someone else during the day and get a run in. But, the most important thing is making sure that they're getting their schoolwork done. They're studying for their tests. They're doing well in the classroom, because if they're not doing well in the classroom, that, translates over with eligibility reasons and just, confidence, things like that. So, I mean, the schoolwork is hugely important. And, the whole reason you're in college is to get your education, get your degree and, go on out into the workforce and getting yourself, a good job. Cross country is just a fun activity you get to take part of while you're here.
Absolutely. Definitely important to keep in mind, like you mentioned, that number one reason that they're here is for that academic piece. And athletics is a great addition to the college experience, but focusing on that academics is really important. So your program has had great success, but it isn't just with current runners. It's something that your runners have had over 10 years as you being the Wolfpack, head coach. So where are some of your alumni? Like, what are they doing professionally? Have they stayed involved with, the cross country program here? Or are they running kind of, in general out in the community?
I mean, we've had a lot of alumni go on some pretty important jobs. We have one young man who was on our 2011 and 2012 team. He's now actually a chef out in California. We have multiple students who have gone on to be teachers. We have, Rachel Cromwell, who's a teacher down in Tennessee. Carly Stefanita, she is now a teacher as well. A couple of our recent alumni just graduated from college. A couple of them are actually in the nursing fields right now, which of course is very important. We have a couple who actually just got into the computer aided drafting, in the architecture fields. We've had a couple others who got into graphic design. So we had welders. So we've had a lot of students that have gone on to, pretty good success in their actual work fields and their fields of study. As far as, alumni being around, our alumni are always around our practices. They're around our meets, not so much this year, just with the pandemic and everything. But I mean, like when you come to our home meets, you usually see anywhere from, 5 to 10 alumni walking around helping out with meets. They come in, they'll run with our athletes during practices still. So, I mean, it's definitely a culture that we've kind of grown, that it's, one big family. And, it's not just ones that graduated a year or two. We've had kids that graduated 6-7 years ago, and they still come around and help out. And again, they're with the team, and it's kind of nice because it allows them to kind of see, where this program has come from when they were here to where it is now.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure that's great for both parties. So for the alumni to come back home and, kind of engage, but it's great for, I'm sure, your current runners looking up to those students who were runners and, are now out in various fields. So that's great. So we've been talking a lot about, cross country, but Brian, can you talk a little bit about some of the other athletic programs that we have here at Westmoreland?
Certainly. We have 13 athletic programs, one of the largest athletic programs, certainly in the state and in our conference, the Western Pennsylvania Collegiate Conference, but also one of the largest in our Region 20 out of the NJCAA. Normal, obviously, this is not a normal year in so many different ways. Right now, the only sport that we have competing this semester is cross country, but we have many of our other programs who are going through fall practices and conditionings while adhering to our safety protocols. We traditionally, our fall sports include obviously men's and women's cross country, but we also offer men's and women's soccer. Our men's and women's golf team will also play a fall season as well as playing in the spring. And we have a women's volleyball team that plays in the fall. In the wintertime, we have our men's and women's basketball teams, as well as our men's and women's bowling teams. And then in the spring, we have, in addition to golf, we have baseball and softball. So we have 13 programs overall. We have a wide array of skills and experiences with our programs. We've have some all-state, all-region, all-district type caliber athletes, and then we have others who have played a little bit in high school or had to step away for different reasons, and they finally get a chance to return to play. So, our coaches have done a great job of recruiting different caliber of student athletes to our programs and having those student athletes adjust to our programs and get up to speed and being college athletes. One of the kind of philosophies of our athletic program is the student athletes are the faces of our programs. Brooke is a tremendous example. That's why we wanted her on this call today. She was just named the National NJCAA Division III Runner of the Week through a national association. It's the first time ever in program history we had a student athlete earn that award. But in addition, she's well over 3.0 in her majors. And, she is exactly what we want to promote from our student athletes. But it's not just with what Brooke does and the tremendous job that she does representing Westmoreland in cross country and academically. In my 2 years previous to here, I can give numerous examples, and some of them are very good athletes when they come here. Nico Culo was a baseball player who came up here from Florida last year. He was a 4.0 all 4 of his semesters. Was an all-conference and an all-region player on the baseball field. He transferred to Chatham University to continue his playing career as well as his academic career. Julia Jumper was not necessarily a highly regarded athlete, but she came here. She had played golf and she played softball. Her freshman year, she was part of our softball team that won the conference and played in the district championship game. But she also was on our bowling team, our golf team. And last year, just to help us field a team, she played volleyball for the first time in her life. She's a local kid, from Greensburg, PA. She was homeschooled and had really embraced everything that Westmoreland had to offer, not only academically, as she was in 3 majors in culinary, but she was also SGA president and obviously athletically. And her younger sister, Olivia Jumper, is currently on our cross country team as our number 2/number 3 runner. That's the great thing about our cross country program is, Brooks kind of established as our 1, but, everybody is very competitive and pushes each other very well in that program. So, other student athletes, Zach Hartman was a 4.0 last year. He was a conference champion in bowler for the men's bowling team, also won the region championship and helped our team compete at nationals last year. So again, we look at our student athletes as being the real face of our programs. And that's kind of followed by our coaches. We're very fortunate to have an extraordinarily talented and dedicated group of coaches. Coach Comer's been doing this for 10 years. Our baseball coach, Mike Draghi, has been the only coach our program has had in 28 years, won over 750 games. We've been to the World Series twice. And in addition, just like Coach Comer, he believes in the student athlete first. And, they're here to get an education first. And we want to send them off to whether it's a job or a 4-year school with that degree or their best experience academically. John Rawls, our bowling coach, he's been our bowling coach for, I believe, 12, 13 years, multiple conference and region championships, but very successful academically as well. We have a stable of young coaches. Our volleyball coach, our men's soccer coach, our women's soccer coach, they're all in their 2nd year. Our basketball coaches are in their 3rd year. So, we've got some consistency in our coaching programs, and that's a key to the success in athletics here at Westmoreland and anywhere. And it's due to the dedication that the coaches put in to their programs and more importantly, the student athlete experience.
Absolutely. I love the variety that you mentioned in, our athletes from, very highly regarded athletes to maybe they've just sort of dabbled a little bit. So that they have that opportunity when they come here to try out for teams, and really become engaged and maybe try out a new sport that you may not have previously thought of, like you mentioned that one of the athletes did.
Yep.
And something that we have here, not everybody realizes, we have some awesome facilities here for athletics. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're one of the only community colleges in the region that have almost all of our facilities on campus. I say almost because who has a bowling alley on their campus? So we got to go about 10 minutes down the road to get to our bowling alley, main lanes in Greensburg, which Coach Rawl has worked for many years until he retired recently. But thanks to his work, we're able to use main lanes for our team bowling alley, but all of our other facilities are on campus. Our gymnasium is here at Youngwood, just down the hall from the newly renovated Student Achievement Center. And it's one of the, obviously I'm biased, I'm going to say this, but I think we have the nicest gym certainly in our conference, and one of the nicest in our region. It's well lit. It's a new floor with our logo, which just changed 3 or 4 years ago. So we've got a new logo on it. It's really appealing to walk into and see how bright it is. To be able to play in. Our outdoor facilities include a baseball field, a softball field. We have our cross-country course that runs throughout campus. We also have 3 soccer fields on campus, a smaller one for small youth teams to use. We have our game field, and then we have a larger field that is used for practice, but could be used for games as well. We have a weight room on campus. Now it's small, but for our purposes, it works very well, particularly for our student athletes to get their workouts in during the week. And we also have a fitness center with updated elliptical machines and treadmills, but as well as different weight machines so that you can complete a circuit. So we're very proud of the facilities that we have, but one of our focuses as we move forward is to finding ways to improve those. I don't want to spoil any, I don't want to put too many spoilers out there as far as what we're looking to do, but know that it's always a conversation with our administration led by Dr. Stanley, who wants to see us succeed in everything that we do, from academics, but also athletically. And so there's always conversations with Dr. Stanley as our president, Dr. Sidney Beeler, vice president for enrollment, and who athletics directly reports to. We're always having conversations about how can we upgrade our facilities and give our student athletes what they need, and give our students facilities, because it's not just student athletes that use our facilities. Our students are also using the weight room and the fitness center and our gymnasium for intramurals and different things throughout the year, as well as our continuing education program is using the facilities. Our police academy are in our facilities. So as you would expect with community colleges, our facilities get used by a wide array of people, and we're very proud of what we have and what we can provide for our students.
Definitely. That's so important. Having those facilities, for all of the students, like you mentioned, and especially for those student athletes is wonderful. Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit about, looking to the future. So can you talk a little bit about how Westmoreland Athletics is handling everything with COVID right now, and then where we hope to go in the future?
Well, I mean, it's been a challenge for everybody, not just in athletics, but in academics overall. I mean, it's been a challenge to try to figure out the best way to for our student athletes in our case, but all of our students to have a good experience. We have a lot of safety protocols in. Our athletic trainer, who we contract out through Excella, Rob Rubel, has done an amazing job. He's here for all of our practices. We haven't pitched a cot for him yet in one of our offices, but we're not far from it with as much as he's here. But we're doing temperature checks on all of our student athletes every day. We're doing symptom screenings, and that's not just on our student athletes. We do it with our coaches. I'm screened every day because we're not going to be able to do a bubble like the NBA and the NHL, but we do our best to put our students in as safe of an environment as possible. We have good communication with our student athletes. We tell them, if you're not feeling well, don't come in. You can make up that workout at another time. As Rob told one of our teams at the start of the year in a Zoom meeting, it's better that you stay home and feel better after a day or two than come in and possibly infect. And it might not be with COVID. It could be with a cold or with a flu or something like that. But it's better for you to get better rather than come in and infect 3 or 4 others. And then, suddenly we have an entire team starting to miss workouts. And our student athletes have been great about it, making sure they're wearing masks when they need to, reporting symptoms, to which we haven't had any or very few to this point. And staying home when they need to, and good communication with our coaches. Hey, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to stay home. And our coaches have worked very well with them. You know, for the future, again, cross country is the only sport that's competing this fall. We're going to have everyone else competing in the spring, which is going to present a lot of challenges facility wise and staffing wise. You know, we're happy that cross country got their season in, and we're, you know, their national championships are coming up in November, and it's nice that we're going to have one less sport or two less sports to worry about in the spring. So, but baseball, or excuse me, basketball and volleyball are really going to get going in January, and they're going to run through early April. Bowling's going to run through, start in January and run through early April as well. Baseball and softball, we're hoping will have their normal season starting late February and run through the rest of the spring. And soccer's have been pushed. They won't start until mid-March and run through May as well. So the spring's going to be very busy if we can get this off the ground, but it's going to be a lot of fun, especially because we haven't, you know, we've been fortunate to get cross country running, but for those of us who like to be around athletic events and see our student athletes in their environment and getting to compete and play and represent Westmoreland and represent their schools in competition. It's going to be a lot of fun to be able to pretty much have a competition every day. Now, ask me that May 1st, and will I, you know, what will I look like at that point? I'm not sure, but, you know, we're looking forward to how fun that the spring can be if we can get it up and running.
That's great. I love the positive vibe, Brian. It'll definitely be a busy spring, but it's positive, and, you know, we'll be happy for everyone's sake to have the athletics back in action.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, thank you so much to Brooke, to Coach Comer, and to Brian today for joining us to talk a little bit about athletics and all the great things that we offer as the Wolfpack here at Westmoreland for athletics. Thank you all so much for joining us today. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for What's Up Westmoreland. Make sure you tune in next Thursday at 12 o'clock. We will have different guests and a new topic to talk about. Hope everybody has a great week. Thank you.